Welcome back to the podcast. Roll the intro.
Yeah, they call me a savage. How I'm putting in work. I hustle and grind, I put in the time, get what I deserve. Savage.
How you feeling, bro?
Burnt out, brother.
I'm fucked.
I'm fried. Yeah, we're getting through that last set of chins and dips, and I was like, bro, I'm ready to call
Wasn't
it.
feeling it today.
Ready to call it quits, brother.
Need that deload in there.
Yeah.
I think we need a deload next week.
I don't think we haven't deloaded in a while, eh? Yeah. Ain't no such thing as deload.
Energy is low, but we'll bring it.
That's it.
Good. We got a few good people that actually watch and listen. They're in the background, so drop in the comments. Always good to get questions and just a bit of love, just to make sure people are listening.
Just a bit of love, bro.
Even though we just do this for practice of how to talk properly.
Bit of love never goes astray. Thank you, guys.
Bit of practice. So we'll go straight into it. It's going to be a bit of a training episode. So I'm going to go through role of mobility in different sports, injury prevention, pre- and post-workout routines, addressing imbalances, and sort of some case studies.
Yep.
Let's roll with it.
Let's roll.
So, how does the importance of mobility vary across different sports? This is a cool question.
Yeah, it is a cool question, bro. So I think about as an example, you think about the sport that we play, rugby league. Some would say that you don't require too much mobility or flexibility or different sort of. But I believe the more mobile that you are, then the better off you are able to get through games and then stay away from injury. I think it's just injury when it comes to footy. If you can stay away from injury because you have good mobility, then why not do it?
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's...
Yeah, I think I sort of try and explain or think about mobility as just being like mini strength training.
Yeah.
Or like the little parts.
Yep.
And because we always train all the big muscles, the big systems, we do fitness, we do strength work, but then we don't take over the little parts that usually are the ones that break down and we get injured. So that's where I feel like mobility takes its role and, really the positive effects for people and athletes in that sense.
Because that's what we do, right? We're coaching or trying to gift people what we thought we missed out during our footy career, right? And yeah, I think it's a very cool note. But then, like you said, what were some of the points down here? Your mobility is very different for different sports. You look at, like we just spoke before about, guys like weightlifters and that, they'd have very different ranges of mobility. And you've got
more overhead and stuff like that.
Yeah, just different, I think the overhead would be very dominant, or from hips up would be very dominant in terms of, their mobility that they need. But yeah, whether or not, and how that differentiates and how the percentages of what sort of mobility they do need is it'd be very interesting to know.
Rugby league's a tough one because you have other people
involved
trying to kill you on the field, and those forces are massive. Yeah. And if you're in a compromising position, I always think of that one where the wingers in the corner go score the try, outreached. You see a lot of pec tears.
Yep.
You can just tell they're super tight through the shoulders, and maybe could have mobility training saved those guys from having a pec tear.
Cool point.
Because a pec tears, you're out for the season as well.
Yeah.
So just making sure that shoulder can move through all ranges of motion, so when it does get put in a compromising position, it doesn't snap or doesn't tee your pec off.
It's very interesting too. Yes, it's interesting they say that, bro, because you watch those guys score tries, those wingers. Fuck, you don't know how it doesn't happen sometimes, right? Watch them, watching them land, watching them do those, almost doing backflips and that.
Yeah, doing the acrobatics. It looks real cool.
It looks cool, but you can't think. I'm like, man, you might be sore after that, eh?
And then you have field-based sports. I think they're all pretty similar. Like if you play a field-based sport, hockey, rugby league, soccer, they all have similar things and similar injuries.
Yep.
So I feel that's where mobility can really help out those guys as well. Mm-hmm. But injury prevention is probably the main thing.
Yeah.
That we think about as we go through and take clients through as well.
Yeah, I like it says here on the sheet. For me, it's awareness. I wish I had awareness during my footy career because I feel like I could have prevented a lot of injuries from happening, bro. You know, I think about my knees. Like, even though, like you were saying before, I was very strong and I was doing all this rehab and stuff, I still didn't have any awareness of how the body could move. You know, and I can jump into a training session with you right now and I can actually understand why, you know, there might be some parts of my body that are sore at this moment. We spoke about my knee yesterday because my knee's been very uncomfortable for the last couple of weeks. And I said to you, bro, I found like some internal rotation from the tib, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to bore you with science, but that understanding of how the body should move would maybe have prevented me from getting such a big injury like an ACL, which is why I wanted to just touch base on that.
I think there's so many factors from like how your feet hit the ground and
100%, bro. There's so much.
Can you imagine if you're a marathon runner and your feet ain't hitting the pavement right?
You're doing
over that many reps and sets, like something will eventually break down, and those things are super hard to find.
And it's like
same with footy players, like the running and that, the wear and tear.
Flat feet, bro. I got fucking pounded for that.
Yeah, I think when you see footy teams when their roster is very, very young, like the Panthers, you can get away with a bit of injuries, but as that roster gets older as well and the injuries start kicking in, then those players are playing less, which sort of takes a bit of a hit on the team as well and their successes. They start losing games. They don't have a stronger team. Their players are going to other teams as well because their salary cap is...
So how do you change a system that works then? So like, let's say if they got that team at such a young age and they're doing the same thing pretty much for 4 years and they've been fucking grand finalists for the last 3-4 years, whatever. As they get older, does the system need to change around their training, or do you...
That's the $1 million question.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think as you get older, being a footy player, the amount of time you spend on lifting weights and strength training is probably less compared to just getting your body in shape and resilient enough just to keep up with the week-to-week grind of rugby league, don't you think?
That, bro. Yeah, that's a good point.
There's sometimes the amount of effort to put 10 kilos extra on your squat is probably not going to really do much for yourself, whereas looking after other things in other areas, you might get a bit more low-hanging fruit to, boost your performance, especially as you're getting older.
Do you think it's...
No one young stretches.
Yeah.
You don't give a fuck.
Who gives a fuck?
You don't give a fuck when you're young.
Do you think these older guys, should be implementing away from footy, or the club should be implementing it?
Yeah, I always think so. I think it's super important to do like resilient mobility training for the older guys, because if you can squeeze out an extra year on your career, that could be like extra 300k.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the length of your career, it's also the quality as well.
Yeah.
If you're breaking down by the end of your career, your contracts are just dropping lower and lower. But if you can keep up with the high performance and the demand of the sport, then I think there's a lot of money in it too. Like,
that's heaps, bro. It's only getting more. It's crazy.
But you can't actually figure that out. Like, it's not like, okay, go do mobility training. Now I'm going to earn 250 extra thousand of dollars.
But it'd be nice to.
Yeah.
So you're telling me if I do your program,
but whatever, you can speak to someone and say, bro, if you do this will happen. And like, yo, and then they do it. Then hey, sometimes as a coach, you need to, give them that little kick up the butt,
little push, bro, which is always important, man. Oh, that's a good point, bro. I like that.
Next point. Pre and post workout mobility routines. When do you like to do yours first?
Just before I train.
Yeah.
So let's say I'm about to do legs. My mobility routine was normally the same. It'll always be on the dead mill, and I'm always hitting 90-90. So I hit the glute, then I'll hit the quad, and then I might hit hammy or groin. And it's like I don't spend longer than 15 minutes on it.
And that preps you
for decision good. Yeah, and I don't know, like I might be different to a lot of people, but I feel like I got a already good mobility base. I wasn't always as good as I am now, bro, but yeah, it's pretty simple for me to warm myself up mobility wise, and then once I get underneath any weight, whether it's body weight or even some load, I feel like I can move it pretty well. Hope that explains things.
Yeah, with my mobility clients, I'm nearly at the point of telling them not to do it before bed and not to do it after a session.
Yeah.
Because I've seen so many failures.
So you're more along the lines of not getting it done?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think before the session or in the morning. I've never seen anyone do it long term or consistently enough outside of those 2 times. Yeah, I've never seen anyone be able to stretch before bed because it's just so easy just to miss it, if that makes sense.
So
as a habit thing.
As a habit thing. So what would be the best times?
Before your workout. Even if you do an afternoon workout before that, or in the morning before your day.
Okay.
There's the only 2 times I've ever seen anyone.
Yeah, you see people nail it.
It's over a big, broad, thousands of people.
Yeah.
Hundreds. No, thousands now.
Thousands now.
Yeah, so that's... Yes, I'm almost at that point where I'll tell them to only do it at those 2 times for their long-term success. I've seen it so much and seen all the people that fail. So I may as well just tell them straight away.
Straight away, yeah. That makes perfect sense.
Don't second guess me. I got the data.
I'm right.
But then before the session, I think, those people who like going into their session, I think it's better to do the prep work, mobility, because it warms you up, it activates you, and then you're ready to go. Yeah.
And it's short and sharp too. But I feel like, you know why people don't get them done before, bro? It's because their gym sessions are so fucking long.
It's fucking true.
You know what I mean? Like they're saying, like I talk to people all the time. They say, mate, I'm in there from, let's say, as an example, someone told me the other day he starts at 5, his gym session, and finishes at 6:30. I was like, what the fuck are you doing within that time? He sent me his program, bro, his workouts. And I was like, bro, you're only getting 6 fucking things done. Why is it taking you that long? Oh, because I rest. I go, are you a power lifter? And he's like, no. I go, what are you training for? And he's just like, oh, just to feel good. I'm just like, you're fucking kidding yourself, brother.
That's the other thing. I think with doing all the mobility training, I feel like I have to put in weights programs now for people. Actually do their weights programs for them because they're so inefficient and so horrible anyway.
Yeah, okay.
And technique-wise. Because they get injured or they take too long and they don't have time. So if I just structured it for them, I think that will work out better. But I just...
Let's go.
We'll get there.
That's fucking
we'll
sick,
get there.
bro. Yeah,
we'll get there.
Hectic. I like that. I like that, bro.
What about addressing imbalances throughout the body with... Bro, that's I think... So along those lines of addressing imbalances on your body, I feel like it's too hard to tell where your imbalances are without always tracking everything. And I don't even think the best trainers, scientists in the world could do it. So you may as well just fucking do a lot of mobility training so you can make up and just be ahead anyway. Don't you think?
Fucking oath, bro. I think if people get lost in that, like, oh, my left leg's longer than my fucking right.
Oh, the chiro fucking straightened my legs, so now they're the same length. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Bro, I'm just like, bro, are you fucking serious, mate? All that time that you've spent with the chiro or worrying about your imbalances when you could be ripping in and then feeling good. I feel like the feel good factor is like eliminated from people's lives at the moment, bro. Everyone wants to fucking like get the data in front of them and go, oh, mate, I'm off 1 centimeter or I'm off 1 digit. Yeah, good point, bro. Very good point.
Yeah, I think it's just ripping in. Bro, even me, I didn't even know like how out of sync I am, and I feel like I'm aware of my body a lot more than other people. So I think people like think too much about them. Yeah, things being out of whack. Do
you think that comes in with experience as well, bro? Or do you... Is there like
I just don't even want to think about it myself. Yeah. I don't give a fuck if my legs left. What can I do? What can I do just to feel good? Like I want the solution. I don't give a fuck about this. The 1 centimeter difference, that doesn't fucking help me. I just want to fucking rip in and just train, bro. That does not help me at all. But that's just, I don't know, some people like that.
My left fucking...
My left glute is not activating. Shut the fuck up.
Fuck your left glute.
We're going to beep out all these swear words.
Oh, that's crack up, bro.
I think those are just some things you get frustrated. I didn't even get frustrated. I was just like, yeah. It's funny to laugh at.
Yeah, it's funny to laugh at, but yeah, it's just like it's the truth, bro. People do... lose their mind over it. And like I was one of those kids too. Like I don't know if you've seen that post that I put up the other day, bro. Like I got told I was flat-footed, And I know I'm flat-footed, but bro, I lost fucking like 2 years of mental space over that, bro.
Mm.
And then once I literally removed it, like all those heel lifts and the orthotics, and I was just like, you know what? I run like a duck. Who gives a fuck? Like, I got to enjoy my footy for 2 more years.
Yeah.
Which is like, that's what it is, bro. People spend so much time worrying about how long one leg is fucking compared to the other. And yeah, you can certainly like lose your way.
Yeah, I don't like when people, when they come to me and they've already got all these preconceived ideas about how their body's like working and what's they've been told in the past. It's really hard to break that down.
How do you break it down?
Just honesty. I'm just like, you got to give this a crack for long enough before you actually can see some differences.
And then, like you said, you've got the data backing up what you say.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that, especially with lower back pain, I find as soon as they get one flare up, that's done. They're done.
Yeah.
So then they go try something else, they get another flare up, they're done. So they're just in that cycle of going between different practitioners, whether it's a physio, a chiro, a PT, and they don't realise that it's a bit of a journey where you got to go up and down, up and down, up and down. But long as you're tracking positively, I think that's the main thing overall. And there's a lot of things where you can have little wins and, oh, okay, I didn't really need to get a massage this week or this fortnight or this month, that
I can tie my shoelaces up without it hurting.
Oh, I can sleep better. Like all those little other wins that you have to be aware. And sometimes when you ask the proper questions, they'll start to realize that as well. And they'll be like, oh, okay, it is working. And then they get more buy-in and then they fix themselves.
Yeah, that could go back to a bit of like wellness. Remember those wellness checks we used to get before footy, for training and that? Like, I don't know whether it can be implemented in what we actually do, but, I think that always created a bit more awareness. When you're doing a piss test before and they're asking how's your sleep and all that sort of shit. And it was good to compare when I was playing footy back in my day, to compare the weeks on how I performed, because at the back end of my career I had to be very aware of that stuff. And the nights that I was sleeping well, the days that I was, diving into my recovery and all that sort of stuff, it certainly helped. And yeah, I think that could be something cool. Could be something cool.
Good, our last one, case study. So what can we learn from professional athletes who have successfully improved their performance and reduced injuries through targeted mobility training?
How many athletes have you got, bro? Gotten? Roughly.
It's between 50 and 100. So I think that's why some people ask me, do you want to go work with a professional team? And I'm like, nah, I'm sweet. Like I do work with players. More general pop. It's sort of changed because there's a lot more people out of the professional sports area that need help. And then it's sometimes hard with professional athletes because they're with their own physios and that environment where they do have a little bit of help as well.
Yeah. So
usually they got to stick with whatever that trainer or whatever that physio is saying to help them out. Mm-hmm. But probably the best example is Papali'i.
Yeah.
He's been on the program for a couple of years.
What a good dude,
now,
eh?
And he hasn't been injured. Not that I know of.
Yeah.
Touch wood, like there's always going to be injuries in a sport like that, but he's playing back row 80 minutes every game for the last 2 years.
And he's killing it too.
Yeah, he's Dally in back row of the year, so he's probably the best example of something. And like he's not super consistent all the time.
But he's done enough.
But yeah, he's probably like 200-300 sessions that he wouldn't otherwise normally get in. So that's compared to someone who hasn't done it. I always like those comparisons when you compare two people. Like he's done that much more minutes into his body. It's going to help.
Like I think about that too, bro. Like I don't have too many players that are inside the game besides my cousin and all that sort of stuff, but guys that have finished the game, guys that have rubbed shoulders with, after footy and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, like I just have to look at one person, Brendan Gibb, and I'm a very huge fan of Brendan. He's one of my clients, and he's done a triathlon this year, couldn't run, and jumped on the program early days when I was still doing shit from the back of my fucking garage, bro. And if anything, the data that's connected to that result for him is that he stayed consistent and got workouts done, and I don't think he's missed more than fucking 2 to 3 workouts per week. You know what I mean? So, Yeah, man. Like, and all I have to do is look at what he's doing. You know, he never thought that he would be able to. He could do a triathlon, but he's done one. He never thought he'd be able to run again, and he's ran. You know, he never thought he'd be able to feel and look amazing like he does now. So, for me, that's been a very good win.
Yeah, I think probably the last point here, what we sort of can finish on, is like that, sort of that mental break of your body improving. If you've lived in a life of pain, like every day, when you get that just little day of, oh shit, I'm starting to feel better, it's sort of that mental clarity, and it's a bit of happiness, I think, as well.
Yeah, it creates a good feel inside you because you're not used to that feeling, right? You know, like I always go back to the story. The day that I messaged you, and I was actually emotional about it because I finally found the missing link for myself, and I wanted to share it with you because it was a cool share.
Yeah, 100%.
Those are wins, eh?
Yup.
Thank you, brother.
Done and dusted.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Yeah, they call me a savage. Now I'm putting in work. I hustle and grind, I put in the time, get what I deserve. Savage.